We're at the end. I think it's safe to say that over the last couple of weeks, we've had quite a lot of information given to us in this industry. It's been really nice to see some of the developments that have happened in the industry, some of the upcoming games, upcoming hardware, just get a deeper look at some of the titles that were out there. It's now Konami's turn to give us their Press Start event and get a better look at some of the titles that they're bringing out. So the first game that we were shown was another look at Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which, as you can imagine from the name, is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is on PS2. I've mentioned this a bit in the past in other videos that have covered this, and this game has come up quite a bit at other presentations. It looks like it is going to be an incredible remake of it. All the charm looks like it's still there. The gameplay looks like it's been really well done this time as well. And overall, like, Metal Gear Solid 3 was one of my favorite MGS games, so I'm really excited to dive back into this again and see what it's like. We got a better look at some of the other features that are coming as well. So we found out there's actually going to be two different versions of this game. One which is going to come with an Ape Escape collab, which is going to be where you have to go through the jungle and catch the apes, and that's going to be available on PS5 and PC. But then there's also another version of the game which is going to have Bomberman in it, replacing the Ape Escape theme with a Bomberman type one. And that's going to be available on the Xbox platform. So it's interesting to know that they've done that. I guess if you look at historically where those franchises have been based, Ape Escape was always a PlayStation franchise, and Bomberman was kind of always bigger, or big at least, on the Xbox, apart from that really weird version they did where they made it more modern and Bomberman looked like an actual robot and not the cute cartoon character that he is. That was just strange. The creative producer then came out and told us a little bit more about what they've done with it, some of the tweaks that they were making to it. Essentially, they're just going to tidy it all up, make the gameplay a little bit more balanced, you know, shift everything around so it's all working on modern platforms and takes the most advantage of what's available on there, and just give it that new breath of life that it needed. One thing that I didn't like was that there was already a mention of DLC for the game. I don't know if I misheard that, but it definitely sounded like they were talking about DLC with different items and outfits and different abilities that will come from that. And that's not something that gamers really like to hear about before a game is out. If you've got a roadmap for it, that's one thing, but these little items, it's a bit of a slap in the teeth, really. If you watched the last presentation that had this game in it, you would have seen there's a little bit at the end with people hiding and trying to find each other. And we all thought it was Metal Gear Solid Online, and we were kind of right with it. But it's a game called Fox Hunt. And it's not MGS Online, it's kind of like a remaster, or I say remaster, another step into that sort of world. Konami even said that the whole sort of online gaming aspect has changed and the whole landscape of that has changed in the last few years. So to do it exactly how it was done with MGS Online wouldn't be fair. So they're going to be looking into how it can be done and how it can actually work in this modern day. Not 100% what it's going to be like, but they are going to give us more news on that in the future. And as the section closed out, we got a little bit of a look at the studio and where the developers and designers were all working together, and it looked like it was a really fun place to work. Genuinely looked like all the designers and developers were enjoying themselves there, so it's good to know that there's a lot of passion being put into this project. It comes out on the 28th of August. It's coming out to all the major platforms, but not the Switch 2. I can't remember where I last saw this game, but Darwin's Paradox was shown next. It looks really fun. You play as an octopus and you have to go and try and escape a factory and get back to the sea. It looks like it's going to have all sorts of crazy puzzling and crazy platforms to solve. It just looks like it's going to be a good fun game. The graphics are actually really impressive as well, given the genre that they're going into. So it's going to be interesting to see what it actually plays like when it comes out, but I'm really looking forward to this one. And it definitely looks like it could be something to do on a rainy day, and definitely looks like it's going to be a good laugh as well. I don't think I could care less about the next game that was announced, or the game after that. It was eFootball. I've never been a football fan, I've never been a soccer fan, I've never been an American football fan, so regardless of whatever you call it, I'm not enjoying it, okay? It's not something that I care about or anything like that. I think it was Messi that was on screen. I do not know, and I do not care. Football games do not excite me. If football games are your bag and you don't like the EA games, like the EA FC, which it's called now, then you've got this. I think, if I'm right in thinking, Konami used to do the International Superstar Soccer games, or ISS games, way back in the day. So like Pro Evo, maybe? I don't know. I don't care. If you like football, there's more football. Well done. And then we had a game which was eBaseball MLB Pro Spirit. Again, don't care. I don't like baseball. Could not care less about that, sorry. If that's your bag, then it's a mobile game that's coming out. All the acting that was done in this section was horrifically wooden. It was terrible. I know they're baseball players and they're not actors, but still, come on. Like, it was just bad. Either way, they're coming out at some point. I'm not interested in them, so I'm not going to spend any more breath on them. Konami then announced something for all you card collecting nerds out there, and that's the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships, and they gave us a bunch of dates for those events. So if you are someone that enjoys playing card games in person, I've got a lot of friends that play like Magic the Gathering in person, and you know, some of them play Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. There you go, there's a chance for you to qualify for the world tournaments there. I have no idea about the process of the actual competitive side of it. I just know that my friends collect them and play together, and it's a good bit of fun for them. It's just something that I could never get into. I haven't got the time or patience to dedicate to it. But if that is up your street, then these are the dates that you can look out for. I'm sure there'll probably be some form of a live stream as well. They then announced something else with the game. And it was not a game, it was another card game, like some promotional anime coming for it. It was all a little bit disjointed and confusing, but yeah, it's all a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card stuff is coming out. So if that's your bag, have at it. Recently, we had the Suikoden 1 and 2 remasters come out, and they're actually coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. But they are getting changed a little bit by the looks of it, and they were saying that they were being reviewed to perform optimally on the system. It's a pixel art game. How can it not run well? Surely it runs brilliantly on that system. They then announced Suikoden Starleaf, which is coming out to mobile and Steam. No home console releases for it, but it's another game in the franchise. Visually, it does look very impressive. It would run on a Switch 2 probably as well. But again, I've got no nostalgia for the Suikoden series, but I do have friends that were very excited about the announcement of the first 2 remasters, so I'm sure it's going to be a good bit of fun if you enjoyed the other ones. There's not much to say about the next one that came up, but it was just Gradius Origins, and it's a collection of all the original Gradius games out there, so if you've got nostalgia for them, then you're going to have a blast with this. This game looks really fun. It's called Deliver at All Costs, and it looks like a wacky game where you control a character that's got to basically figure out why they're descended into insanity and complete deliveries. You know, everything is destructible in this game. It looks really fun, really tongue-in-cheek, really off the wall, but without being corny. And that's a really important thing. It looks as though you can go anywhere you want, destroy everything, you get chased by UFOs, you get bombs thrown at you, go through active war zones, you drive off of cliffs. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good bit of fun. And it looks as though there's a story like pulling you through it as well, which is quite intriguing for this type of game. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to try out. It is actually out now, so I'm going to try and see where I can get it or how much it costs, and then maybe share my thoughts on that with you as well. Eden Zero was next, and it's an anime game. It's about as much as I can tell you about that. I've never read Eden Zero, I've never watched Eden Zero, and I'll never play the game. But if you like it, then here's a game based on it. Not my bag. Anime hack and slash game. They all kind of look the same, and they all kind of have similar mechanics and stuff, and it's not something that I really care for. I'm not going to try and glaze this. It just looks like another game in that type of genre. Anyone who watched the Switch 2 Direct when it was first properly announced will remember this game. The stream went down at this point and it just froze on this image whilst the audio carried on, and it's for survival kids. It's a co-op game where you and 3 other people work together to try to get off the island. It looks like there's a lot of puzzle solving, adventuring, and just, you know, generally a bit of wacky thinking that has to go into all this. Looks like it could be a bit of fun. It's not something I'm going to rush to play, but if you've got a lot of friends that you play multiplayer games with, then it looks like something that could be a bit of fun in that respect. I'm not sure how it works with like game sharing or anything like that. What was interesting though was that this was actually an IP which was originally around the Game Boy Color. I remember when that was new. Silent Hill F. Nope. They gave us a look at Silent Hill F. When this was first announced, I was terrified. Now it's been explained a little bit more to me, I'm even more scared. They want to try and get away from the Western style of horror that's been sort of merged into the Silent Hill franchise and go back to Japanese style horror. So anyone who's watched horror films that are from Japan will know how weird and how scary they can be. There's a lot of times when the Japanese version of a horror film is a hell of a lot scarier than the American version. Just take The Grudge or Ring, for example, or Ringu, I think it's called in Japan. I could be wrong there. But those versions of the films are always way more scary and unsettling than the Western versions, and this game looks like it's going to be doing that. It's only set about 50 years in the past, they were saying, which means that everything feels familiar to people, but also foreign enough that it's unsettling. That's a really smart thing to do. Really intriguing how that is going to play out. It's obviously not going to be something that I'm going to find out firsthand because I'm not going to touch this game. It looks as though it's going to be quite unsettling. And they said they want to try and recapture the horror and beauty together, where you are terrified of something but you can't look away from it. I loved that. I love the way they are trying to really mess with the user, mess with the player, and just get them to be really into this world. Silent Hill has always been a franchise that has had hit after hit, but then when the misses come, they miss big, and I really hope that this isn't that. At the end, they also tease that they're doing another Silent Hill game, and it's in development, and there'll be more about it in the future. I'm guessing that's a remaster of the first one maybe, or a remake of the first one, I don't know. It's just the word Silent Hill on the screen, it could mean anything. The show kind of started and ended with the two big games there. It was on the poster, like you can see it by here. But MGS started it off, Silent Hill finished it, and they were the two big games that everyone wanted to know a little bit more about, and we did get some really good looks into that. I think MGS is looking incredible and I'm super excited to play that. Darwin's Paradox as well, looks like it's going to be really fun, as is Deliver at All Costs. I really want to try and check that out. And Silent Hill F looks amazing. I'm just too scared to play it. It would have been nice to see some stuff from the Castlevania franchise, because I think that's a franchise that really could do with some love right now. But aside from that, it was a pretty decent show. Nothing too spectacular, but when it's one publisher doing their own event, you're not going to get an incredible amount of stuff there. Overall, it was a pretty good event. I can't stress enough how little I care about football.